manner of Jose Mourinho's dismissal from Manchester United almost a year ago. There's little doubt that he's got his players fired up for this return to Old Trafford. The Spurs manager has spoken in the last couple of hours.
Going back to Old Trafford is to go back to a place where I was happy. I can say that I was happy. I have a great relation with the Manchester United supporters. I went back as a pundit, which is a different perspective. I was really humbled by such a beautiful reception. Tomorrow I go back as the coach of the team that is going to try to beat Manchester United, and that maybe gives a different perspective. So I expect this respect that they always show towards me, but I understand that what they want is exactly the opposite that I want. I want Tottenham to win. They want Manchester United to win. So during the match, of course I expect them to forget me, and I expect them to support their team to try to get the result they want.
Well, wherever you're watching from around the world, it's always great to have your thoughts. Samar has been in touch and says Mourinho looks rejuvenated and seems delighted with the squad that he's inherited at Spurs. Not to mention he lives in London with his family, which is massive. I do think Mourinho could do something special with the team using that hashtag, the headline makers. And Anthony says Ole has been in the job for a full year. He has no philosophy whatsoever. He's just throwing 11 players on the pitch and hoping for the best. As Liverpool fans, I hope he stays, as a Liverpool fan, I hope he stays another 26 years, just like Sir Alex Ferguson. Spicing things up there,
Funny fans.
Anthony. What do we make of Jose Mourinho's return then? It's always eventful with him. 3 games, 1 in the Champions League, 2 in the Premier League, 16 goals in total from both ends.
Yes, there's always so much involving Jose Mourinho that we have to take a step back and look carefully to everything that's happening. First, it's only 3 matches. Second, Spurs have been showing some weaknesses that they have been showing before, so it's not like there was a huge leap or a huge change in the way they play. Defensively especially, Spurs have been suffering a bit
conceded
in defense.
6 in 3.
Yes, exactly. So that's something to be worried about. Of course, there's a lot of excitement because Mourinho is such a big personality, and it's good for us journalists, and it's entertaining for everyone. But I think we need to take this comeback nice and easy. You know?
Yeah, I think it's far too early, really. I think some people are getting a little bit carried away, I've got to say, with this sort of return, rebirth of Mourinho, new Jose.
The Mourinho effect.
Bournemouth, with all respect
and
to
they
them,
gave up, and obviously they gave up 2 goals in each of those games, which is very un-Mourinho-like. And obviously, to be fair to him, he's come in mid-season. He's not had a chance to work with the players and everything else. All he's done so far is more like a psychological effect. And sometimes with managers, you make any change and it can get a bounce. You know, I remember speaking to Slaven Bilic about this once, and when he got sacked by West Ham, he said, look, I had to go because the pressure was so great, the pressure had to be relieved. Relieve the pressure, something happened. So it's whether or not he can sustain that now. He looks happier, clearly, because he's back in work. He was getting so frustrated, you know. He's going to, I think he couldn't sort of handle being out of work for that long. But I think it's far too early to talk about, you know, transforming the team and transforming the club. And
what about the argument then that he's transformed Dele Alli? You're not having it at all, but he certainly looked you were at the game against Bournemouth, you know, albeit 2 Route 1 goals from Alderweireld, but Dele Alli playing higher up the pitch, he looks reborn to what he was under Poch in the dying days with Pochettino.
He is better, but he is not the player that we saw on his peak, on his best.
Around there,
Yes, no, I don't think so. And I think it's one of those cases where people are getting a bit carried away with everything that Dele's been doing. It's been only 3 matches again, and I think he will evolve. He will get better, and we see signs of it. But it's still too soon. In this match, in the Bournemouth match, for example, I was more impressed with Son because the way that his pace and he's so clever on the pitch, and the way that he moves, that impressed me more than Dele. But since Son's been doing that for 2 seasons,
So. With that squad, I could see a lot of those players appealing to Mourinho. I mean, you look at Son, you look at Ali, you look at Kane. they're similar to sort of the players that he really, really likes. And he talked when he first joined, he'd actually tried to buy half the squad anyway, even Lucas Moura as well. He tried to buy Lucas Moura before he went to Paris Saint-Germain. So lots of players there that he likes, which bodes very, very well. You must be looking at Ali and thinking, you know, if I get him back to anywhere near 3 years ago, we'll have a chance here with this player. What's really good is he's playing him in his right position. Even Gareth Southgate spoke about the weekend.
It was such a simple fix, though.
Yeah, and what's perplexing is why did Pochettino not do that? Why did he stop that? Because he was the one who put him there in the first place. Because when he played for MK Dons, he played deeper. He hadn't played up so far forward. So it was Pochettino who put him in that position. Then he took him out of that position. And I don't know whether or not it was because of the emergence of Son or change of formation or with Eriksen. And what's interesting is he's clearly gone, right, I'm backing Ali. I'm not going to back Eriksen because Eriksen wants to go.
Yeah, but Son was playing as a striker in those days. He had the opportunity to play Ali there, or had the injury, didn't he, at the beginning of the season?
Yeah.
But from the North London derby, he was
Exactly. But Pochettino seems to have gone away from that, and I don't know why he'd gone away from it so much. I'd love to ask him, actually, to be honest with you, because never we got.
We'll get him on. We'll get the producer together.
Exactly, if only. But if you look at it, it's a simple thing to put him back in that position because. Yeah. OK, he's not been playing great, but at least if he's playing in his rightful position, he hopefully will play better and get a bit more confidence. And what was really good, just to go on, I was at the unveiling and I thought it was really smart of Mourinho, very clever, quite funny, to say, I've spoken to Dele Alli and I said to him, are you Dele or are you your brother? So he's not put the player down, but he's put the pressure on him but in a very funny way. And that's good Mourinho. That's good Jose.
That's what I always heard about him. I've spoken to a few ex-players who have worked under Mourinho, and they always say that he's really good in reading how the player will respond. So if he needs to be tougher with that player, if he needs to expose that player so he can respond, or if he needs just a chat or a tap in the back, he's good in building this relationship.
For how long?
But it never happened at Manchester United then. I don't know if that says something about the dressing room there or whether or not he just was never comfortable there.
Yeah, but Chelsea did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then there was the switch at Chelsea, wasn't there? You know, I say for how long, cynically.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I'm sure even Manchester United are sitting there thinking, Tottenham are sitting there thinking, well, I actually think what they've done is a thought, we just want to get back on track and we want to win something. And whether or not he's here for 2 or 3 years or even less, fine, we'll just deal with that and as and when. A little bit when he went to Manchester United, I think Manchester United thought, we just want to win again. So I think there's a bit of that going on. So I can see why Tottenham have done it. And I think it's interesting because people are saying, you've thrown out their philosophy and they've gone a different direction as a club. I'm not sure they have. I think they just thought, we'll get him in. They're not going to let him get rid of all the players and buy loads more players. I think that's not going to happen. He's spoken a lot about, I'm the head coach. What will be interesting is down the line how much tension there is between him and Daniel Levy. But for now, I think it will be fine.
When you say that they're not going to let him do that, I mean, that's what he has done at clubs.
They won't let him do that.
They won't let him do that. Because he did say early on, didn't he, almost digging his own grave, saying, I'm happy with the players I've got. One of those players, let's talk about Christian Eriksen. You mentioned him there. Reportedly, Christian Eriksen has had a conversation with Jose Mourinho saying that he wants to leave. He's played 11 minutes, hasn't he, in the Premier League. And those 11 minutes against West Ham in the 2 games. Manchester United? Is that
well, he turned them down in the summer. No, I think he wants to go abroad. I think he's got his heart set on Spain, possibly Italy. I think Spain is where he really, really wants to go. He's got his heart set on Real Madrid.
We're talking January.
In January, I think I know people are saying he might go in January. I still think January is quite difficult. But if he's not going to play, then they might just let him go, But I think, will he get the club he wants to go to in January? That's the problem. I think he might get the club he wants to go to in the summer. I don't think he'll get that club in January necessarily.
The Madrid ship, it looked like it sailed. Yes, exactly.
Because he waited all summer for an offer and it never came, did it?
Yes, exactly.
You know, and I think I can understand why he's saying he wants to see out his contract, but Mourinho has been quite clear with him. So therefore, does he want to basically risk not playing this season? That's the danger, and he's not a young player.
No,
so he's not.
He can't wait that long.
He can't wait that long. No.
I've just that's caught my eye on the left of the screen there. The win rates at Manchester United. Even Jose, we were just talking about 53.8%, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 27. That is a statistic which
absolutely amazing.
Jumps off the page.
How can it be that low?
No, and the thing is, if you look at the numbers and you think, okay, but that's just unlucky because the performances were good. No, the performances were not good.
Absolutely.
Yes, and you see glimpses of what United should look like, but it's just glimpses. No. You don't see them. You don't see the consistency, and that's where United's been suffering. Like at Bramall Lane, 20 minutes of great football. Yes.
I think you're being generous, 20. I think it's White Southern.
No, but it's impressive. I mean, when it gets to the point where United's playing good football, okay, great. And what amazes me is that the fans are being very patient because you hear the fans chanting to Ole, but against Villa, that there was more.
And they were,
What's
to be fair, they were
interesting-
very patient with Mourinho as well, weren't they? He
Absolutely.
said
Yeah.
today that he's looking forward to going back because of the reception he's going to get.
Absolutely, and they are good, especially the away supporters of Manchester United. But what's
Yes.
interesting with Ole is the song has changed.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's not Ole's at the wheel.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
now You Are My Solskjaer, which is what they used to sing when he was a player.
Right.
So they're harking back to his playing days, not his managing days.
He's not driving the car anymore.
He's not driving anything at the moment, but it's, they're not talking about him being at the wheel anymore, are they? They're talking
Yeah.
about what he was like as a player.
Yeah.
I think that's a big difference.
Well, that moves
And
us on.
Alexis Sanchez is not on the team anymore, and he was on the song.
Oh, yes. So
Yeah.
they changed, oh, right.
course.
So they changed the lyrics. I see what
Yes.
you're saying.